What's going on, guys? This is Yasin, and today I wanted to go over this deck that I think is actually quite interesting and very slept on. It's a mid-range deck that plays a huge amount of non-engine. I think this is one of the decks that can play the most amount of hand traps in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. It's completely ridiculous. I feel like most cards on the deck list are hand traps, except obviously for the consistency cards and for the unfortunate bricks that you have to play. But even then, we're really just keeping it clean and as, you know, bare minimalistic as humanly possible. But yeah, this is the K9 Bystial Fiendsmith deck. And we're going for a different approach where we are playing the minimalistic also K9 package in order to side more K9 cards. So this is not something new. Obviously, the Vanquish Soul deck has also been doing something very similar. And they're playing Pot of Extravagance, which is not really something that you can do in this deck because you're not really trying to banish your Fiendsmith one-ofs. That would make absolutely no sense. But yeah, I mean, this deck is, you know, quite good at the fact that, the fact that you can use just 2 random bodies in order to make Moon and then play from there. That's really interesting. And also, again, the fact that you're playing a ridiculous amount of hand traps is definitely really cool. But yeah, before we go into the deck list explanation as well as the combos, because I will also be showcasing some cool lines, friendly reminder, of course, to smash the like and subscribe button and check out all my spreadsheets that you can find on my website, yacineygo.com. I can't believe I almost messed up my own name. That's actually unbelievable. I really am tired and need to sleep. But yeah, with that being said, let's get right into it. Okay, so obviously I'm playing triple Lubellion with one of each of the good Bystials. I'm not playing multiple Baldricks or Saroni or whatever, just because I'm also not playing, you know, 3 Nibiru with Phantasmaze and stuff, so Baldric might not always be live. So I think as a one-of accessible off of Lubellion, that makes a lot of sense. And also, it's not like the Bystials are always live this format. They have a lot of dead matchups. And also, it's not like Malice, where you can Bystial yourself in order to help yourself out. Obviously, sometimes you can, because, you know, if you just have Lubellion in a hand trap, you can, you know, normal summon a hand trap or whatever, Lubellion, banish, you know, search a Bystial, banish it, and then you make Moon, etc., and then you play from there. So yeah, you definitely have a lot of cool options. But yeah, one of each of these Bystials, as well as triple Izuna, one Lupus, that makes a lot of sense. Opens up the door to making some rank 5 plays. And also, if you go like Lubellion effect, for example, and you get ashed, then with Izuna, you can start playing the game. So that's really awesome. But yeah, anyways, triple Engraver, triple Lacrima, triple Fiendsmith Tract. Yeah, that's obviously also makes a lot of sense, right? We're trying to max out on all the good Fiendsmith starters, and we're only playing one Lure because we're not trying to play like infinite normal summons. And also, no Primite Engine. We're not trying to play too many engine cards either. The goal is to really combine hand traps that are oppressive against the opponent, but also can help us out, just like the Bystials and the K9s. And then, you know, the rest of the engine, it's just a bunch of one-card combos that are not, like, necessarily terrible if you draw, like, a combination of them. Like, you can actually do a lot of things if you draw, like, 2 or even sometimes potentially 3 Fiendsmith cards. It's really not too bad. But yeah, for the hand traps, the good part, right? I think we're playing, like, 24, something ridiculous like that. 12, well, yeah, there we go, yeah, 16, holy crap, that's so much. 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 3 Imperm, 3 Fuam, 2 Nib, 2 Ogre, 2 Bell, also on top of the triple Izuna and triple Bystials. So yeah, that's 12, and then 12, 24 hand traps out of 40, holy shit. It's pretty much like Tenpai 2.0. All of your hands will be, you know, something along the lines of 3 to 4 hand traps with a 1-card combo and a brick, or maybe 2 consistency cards, and then 3 hand traps, or sometimes you can get unlucky and then draw like none of your juice cards, and then you draw way too many hand traps. But if you're going second, then it's not too bad. You should probably draw one of your starters. And we're playing a decent amount of starters, you know, like the Lubellion is basically a starter, because then after that, all we have to do is like normal summon a hand trap, and then we're good to go. And then also Lori is a starter. So yeah, it's like 13 technically 1-card starters, but when you're going second, your hand traps are basically also starters, because we're getting a body on the board, and then we're basically just any normal summon away from being able to Moon into full combo. But yeah, that's it for the main deck. Obviously, very straightforward, simple deck list. It's not anything too complicated. And for the extra deck, 2 DS Irae. So if you summon like 1, you can still get advantage of the second DS Irae by sending it from the extra deck to the graveyard with Fiendsmith in Paradise when you got the Lacrima and Requiem set up in your graveyard. So it is relevant, but I don't know how relevant it is. And also, I used to play 2 Requiem in a deck like this, but I actually cut it down to 1 because Kashtira Unicorn kind of just phased out of the format, so I think it's like not the end of the world if you're only playing 1 Requiem now. But if you want to play it safe, then obviously just play 2 Requiem, that's completely fine. And then obviously the sequence, the Moon, the Agnamde, Zeus, and Typhon, so that the Lupus is technically also a hand trap. So we're basically playing 25 when you think about it. With the Caesar, Ripper, and Valon, we're only playing 1 rank 6, but if you want to play something else like Evozor Lars, or Constellar Ptolemy M7, or even the other card, Goblin's Crazy Beast, you can definitely do that. There's a lot of really cool options for you. And then, yeah, SP, IP, Necro, Quip Princess, and Chaos Angel. So, yeah, that's a pretty nice extra deck for the most part. And for the side deck, I also like it quite a lot. So, we're playing 3 Joe-Cool, 1 Lantern, 1 Case, and 1 Chaotic Elements. Just so that we have more gas when we're going first. Because otherwise, honestly, this deck, when it goes first, very easy for it to just not really do much of anything. Not really do anything productive. So, that's the reason why it's really important to bring in, like, more consistency cards. And also 3 Fenrir with 3 Pyrrhia. So Fenrir is a going first and a going second card, depends on the situation. And then Pyrrhia is a going second card, like depending on the matchup. And 3 Dominus Purge in this deck list, because in a world where you want to cut down on, you know, the Baldricks, the Bystials, the Lubellion, the Regained, that would be 7 cards to side out. And then you can play 3 Purge with 3 Pyrrhia, 3 Fenrir. And then you only have to look into like another 2 of to like cut. So if like Bell or Ogre or whatever is not good in the format, like in the matchup, or like even Fiendsmith in Paradise, or like one Shract or 1 Lacrima, you can absolutely do that. So there's a lot of possibilities. But yeah, Purge doesn't really conflict with any of the Fiendsmith stuff, so that could be a possibility. Also, if you want to play like more Kashtira cards. So again, it's like a hybrid like approach between Kashtira Fiendsmith and then, you know, Bystial Fiendsmith, and then, you know, what the K9 decks are doing by siding Joe-Cool. So it's not like the most innovative concept in the world. It's not like I'm creating something brand new that will change everything. A deck like this can definitely exist and make a lot of sense. And I think it's definitely something to look into, to take into consideration, because this is honestly not too bad. Alrighty, for the combos, I'm going to be showcasing K9 Joe-Cool as well as any level 5. So reveal, and then obviously you're going to be searching for Izuna or Lantern. And then Ripper is going to be searching for the other one. And by the way, I just want to put it out there that you could actually do that on game 1 if you're main decking the Joe-Cool, but I don't think it's really worth it. So on game 1, since you don't really have like a big package, usually you're really just making like a very small Fiendsmith board, and then it's backed up by hand traps, and honestly, that's pretty much it. But post game 1, this is where you get your deck actually becomes really explosive. So if you draw 0 hand traps, you're doing a big board, and if you're drawing a lot of hand traps, I mean, you're making a smaller board, but backed up with hand traps. So you're always doing something, and that's what really matters. And in this board, I mean, in this combo, it's not too bad. We've got the Ripper with Caesar and the Lacrima with Requiem in the graveyard. So that's, you know, a Disruption in the grave, and then Caesar to negate 2, and Ripper to negate a monster effect in the hand or grave, as well as Izuna. But if you wanted to play the X-Forced release with the Werewolf, that would have been even more disruptions. That would have been 7 disruptions in total, but even then, this is still 5 disruptions. So honestly, I will absolutely take it off of really just Joe-Cool in any level 5. It's kind of cool. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. If you've got like a hand like full of engine, for example, like let's say Joe-Cool in a 5, Lubellion, you know, Engraver, Lacrima, look at what we can do. It is absolutely nasty. So yeah, Joe-Cool reveal E5, and then we're going to be searching with that Joe-Cool for the Lantern or Izuna again, and then Ripper search the other one, of course, right? And then normal summon the Lacrima, search, send the Engraver, and then Requiem summon another Engraver from the deck. And then we're going to be making a Necro Clip and definitely draw a card off of either Engraver or Lubellion, but I'd prefer like thinning to make sure that I'm probably not drawing a Tract first, because if I draw Bystial, it's actually not too bad. It's going to make me draw another card with a Regained. So I want to draw first by searching the Tract, and then I can keep the Lubellion so that I can use it right after. And yeah, from there on out, I mean, I'm safe from like a bunch of hand traps. You know, I got Caesar as well as Ripper, which is absolutely nasty. And yeah, search my deck for a Case of K9, and then search for the Izuna. Make IP Masquerena, which is a very nasty interruption here. You're gonna see why in just a second, but this is like more than just like IP into SP, because we also trigger the graveyard effect of DSE rate to send something, and we're going to be getting it back. Yeah, summon the Magna Mode that we just searched with the Lubellion by banishing the Joe-Cool. Probably better off to do that than banish the Lantern, because this can be recycled back off of Chaotic Elements. But yeah, anyways, Lubellion, revive itself back, plays the Regained. If you have another Bystial, this is where it gets really nasty, because you can summon it and then draw another card with the Regain, so you just never run out of gas. But yeah, revive back the Lori, and then summon the Sequence, and then fuse for the DSE ray, and then make Agnum Day, revive it back, and then we can go, you know, Sequence, equip. And this is your end board. It is completely filthy. You know, IP into SP with the DSE ray negate and the DSE ray send, so that's 4 disruptions, and then Caesar negate 2, so that's 6. Ripper negate, so that's 7, as well as Izuna into a rank 5, so that's 8 disruptions. And we also have, you know, another Izuna with a card in hand, which is absolutely beautiful to look at, you know, off of a mid-range deck. This is like a hardcore heavy combo end board. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.